Great. All right. Hi, everyone. I am really pleased to be here with you today to tell you more about our two programs on Shabab Lab for this year, the Web for Change for grade 10 and the Web and the AR for Social Impact for grade 11. I am really happy that you chose to be part of this very interesting, exciting, and impactful program. And I'm thankful to your school directors and your school facilitators who also believed in this program and the mission behind it and the goal behind it, and helped us to reach you and to onboard you on this platform, and more importantly, on the journey that lies ahead. So I'm going to start off by telling you why this whole thing started, because you really always need to understand the reason behind things, the why, basically, of why we do things. So did you know that until you graduate, there will be many in-demand jobs that don't exist today? I'm sure that you've heard that some jobs that are most in demand today did not exist 10 years ago. So that wasn't a long time ago, basically, such as driverless car engineer, blockchain analyst, podcast producer, telemedicine physician, cloud architect, and others. So in order for us to make sure that your generation is prepared for the future of jobs, I know the educational institutions such as your school, they are doing their best, but unfortunately, it's difficult for them to keep up to the speed of technology of the ever-changing world. And this is why we still, unfortunately, see until today a huge gap between the educational system and the needs of the workplace, the needs of the 21st century. And this is where we step in. We step in to partner with schools, with educational institutions to help them deliver their quality education message, help them and give them a helping hand in terms of upping the game a bit and making you get the skills you need for the 21st century. So what are the skills really that we are talking about? I will start with an example of a real alumnus who started with us around 3 years ago, and you will get a snapshot of what this could look like actually. So Tariq he joined us when he was only 15 years old in grade 10. He lived in a rural area in the Bekaa, and he went to a normal, school. It wasn't reputable or international or anything like that. He found out on social media about a program we were holding in summer 2018 called Robotics for Good in partnership with Touch, the telecom operator in Lebanon. He had some passion about robotics, about technology, and he enrolled. He didn't just learn more about robotics and became a fan of Arduino and took his skills to the next level by learning on his own, but he also learned about entrepreneurship, about social innovation, and he created with his team that you can see in this photo in the Grand Sarai. They worked on a medical device that can help people with the posture of their back and shoulders, because this is a problem that we face in the 21st century as we use a lot of laptop and we sit on our desks for long periods of time. So that was the start for Tariq, but was not the end. He joined us again because he liked the journey so much. He learned a lot. He joined us again for another program in spring 2019. It was called Virtual Reality for Good, where he with his teammate built a virtual reality app using what we call the Google Cardboard VR headset. And this app had to do with mental health for the youth. So it was an app that would help the youth to have better well-being, basically. It was a great program, but he still wasn't one of the winners of the program. But this didn't stop him. He kept on joining more programs because it was, again, a great learning experience, and he was always adding to these skills and to the mindset that he had. He was learning about his passion in life, what he was good at, and exploring new areas that he didn't know about. He joined us again in summer 2019 for a program called IoT. Internet of Things for the social good, because everything we do revolves around the social good. Internet of Things is also, it uses robotics and some sensors and electronics. And because he was already an Android enthusiast a year ago, and he had already gained some skills, he really excelled in this program. And he won the first place along with his teammate. And it's not just that, he continued after the program and he earned a patent, a براءة اختراع, from the Ministry of Economy in Lebanon for their illegal hunting detection device that they built in the program. This is his picture with his teammate pitching their invention Rapid, which is again an illegal hunting detection device. But again, Tariq was still in for more learning, for more adventures, for more challenges. COVID hit, we went online as everyone else. We created a program called Rethinking Politics Through Social Innovation in partnership with Friedrich Naumann Foundation, a German NGO, which has a presence in Lebanon. And he once again won with his teammates. I don't know if you can realize, one of the teammates, Ziara Dargham, she's now a news a reporter on LBCI, and they won a trip to Berlin for the Youth Politics Forum. But again, that wasn't the end of Tariq's journey. It was only the beginning of a whole new journey that opened up for him, including the Young Leaders Conference, which he was accepted at by George Mason University in USA. So what's special about Tariq is just that he was, as you, enthusiastic, passionate. He wanted to build his own skills, work on his own progress and self-development. And he joined all of these programs. And by the end of it, he stood out from all of his peers. He stood out from his classmates. It's not just the grades that matter. Of course, grades are important, and we advise you all to take your studies seriously and do well in your exams and do well in your official exams. But also it's these skill sets, these experiences, these projects that nowadays universities are looking for, employers are looking for, and of course, any scholarship programs that you would like to apply to, any reputable universities that you would love to join, but maybe you cannot afford and you want to apply for a scholarship. These are the things they look for. Even financial aid, they look for these things. So this is what will make you stand out, shine, and it will prepare you for the future of jobs and for what is needed nowadays in the 21st century. This is why we built Shabab Lab, to help you through these programs, again, with the help and support of your school. So we're working hand in hand with these schools who are progressive, who are aware of these needs, and who are already working on providing you with these skills. We are working to make you the best version of yourself and make you ready, not just for higher education, but also for the 21st century workplace. And yes, it's not too early to be ready since high school. I believe as a university professor myself, I have been teaching at AB for 11 years. And recently, after completing my PhD degree, I joined as an assistant professor of entrepreneurship at the Alayan School of Business at AUB after spending 10 years at the Faculty of Engineering as a full-time instructor. I believe that it might be too late actually to get introduced to these concepts at the university stage, because you would have already chosen your major, you already have some kind of idea what you want to do later in life. But this is why it's important to gain them at the high school level. So you have a better idea what you want to do in higher education, what major you want to pursue, if it's a double major, what it is, which university I want to go to, what career I want to pursue. So this will help you with this like self-exploration, which is, I'm sure, you know, it's not easy at all. In addition to these, Shabab Lab is envisioned to become the Coursera for high schoolers in the Arab world. So currently we are working on increasing the content beyond just the school programs. So hopefully in a few months' time, you will get some emails from us that you have, for example, a course on digital marketing that is completely for free. You can do it. There will be one on, for example, artificial intelligence that you can also do like completely for free. So we're adding these free courses. that will also help the youth gain more and more skills and know what is expected from them in the 21st century. So I'll talk now more about our school approach. So the programs we are running in conjunction and partnership with your school. First of all, you need to know that this is part of community service and community engagement. And this is like one door that is really important because although, as you know, this is mandatory, all the schools do it. Now it's part of the national requirements to have this community service element, yet it's still, I would say, sometimes depending on the different schools, weak, and it's still considered as extracurricular. Many times, unfortunately, we see that the students' projects are similar to each other. They are somehow, not all the time, I'm not generalizing, but I'm saying what I've heard from other teachers, from other community service coordinators. A lot of times the projects are not innovative, they are maybe déjà vu, or they are a bit cliche, you know, and many times they are not sustainable, meaning that they are like a one-time thing, you know, like I go clean up the beach next week and you go again and you'll find that the waste has returned. So it's not sustainable. So this is something we're trying to change by adding this project-based, team-based, community-focused element to the program. So it's just one element. The second element is the technology development. So as you all know now, technology is pervasive. So it really has touched every single point of our lives. And probably after COVID, it's impossible not to have people who are using technology on a daily basis, right? So we saw how important it was in the pandemic, because without technology, we couldn't have continued learning and continued doing work, etc., etc. Of course, a lot of people were doing that before the pandemic, but now, khalas, everyone saw that this is a must. There's no way going back. This is why we say that e-learning is there to stay. We are going back to the schools and to the classrooms, and this is great, but we'll never go back as if nothing happened. And everyone now is more embracing to e-learning, and definitely we've learned what works, what doesn't work, but we also know that there's potential there and we can use e-learning. So technology development is important for you to, again, gain hands-on 21st century skills. In these programs, we're talking about web development. This is really important, guys. I'm going to talk a bit more about it later on. And augmented reality. We want you to become active producers of technology rather than passive consumers. Nowadays, for example, I'm sure you're hearing about the metaverse, you know, NFTs and all of these things, and we tend to be consumers. We want you to be on the creator side. We want you to understand what this is, and you decide if you want to be part of it, not just as a passive consumer, but as an active producer. So we want you not just to be passive in this game. We want you to be a leader in it, if you choose to, of course. So this is a choice. This can also help you understand, are you a tech person? Is this something interesting for you? Or maybe tell me, no, I didn't find myself in this. So it's also part of your self-exploration journey. And third is the entrepreneurship component. The entrepreneurship component is what will give your projects the sustainability aspect to them. This is what I said is missing many times, unfortunately, in the traditional community service projects we see at the school level. They lack this sustainability element, but in entrepreneurship, sustainability is major. So we cannot miss it, right? It's part of the plan. Like, how do I make money? How do I sustain myself? How do I make sure that this continues on the long run? So it's part of your plan. So you cannot not think of it. And this is what makes this whole circle awesome and complete each other, because with business planning, with adding project sustainability, with adding these business elements to it, even again, if it's a social and community-based project and adding the tech, we are combining the best of all worlds, but most importantly, not just combining them in any way, we're combining them in a holistic, coherent approach, which has been tested for over 4 years. So I assure you that we have done this for 4 years. We've tested it, validated it in different formats with different technologies, different age groups, and it works really, really well. So this is something we are very confident about. And this is something that constitutes our unique value proposition. This is something you will see in your entrepreneurship modules. Anytime you are proposing something new, you have to tell your audience what is different about it. Why is this unique? Why do they need to use your solution as someone else's? And in our case, what's unique about these programs on Shabab Lab, and this is what convinced the schools actually to work with us, is our unique methodology that we are adopting, and as I mentioned, which has proved to work. So it's a journey that you go through. It's not just like one day you're learning about entrepreneurship, the second day you're learning about technology, and the third day you're learning about community engagement. No, it's not like that. It's a journey where you are learning different things, and they are different pieces of the puzzle that are fitting together. And as you go, as you are learning, you are applying. So this is something I need to really emphasize about, guys. This is not your average e-learning course. This is an asynchronous e-learning course, which is interactive. I'll talk more about this in a bit. But more importantly, it's practice-based. So everything you will be learning on this platform and the program, we are expecting you and requiring you, not just expecting you, like we will ask you to apply and to show us proof of this application. So this is something really important to keep in mind, because unfortunately, sometimes some people tend to forget that and just relax and say, oh, I'm watching these lessons. They are, you know, short, interesting, interactive, 5 minutes each, great. But now what? Now you're asked to apply. So you have to, as you are watching, keep in mind that, oh, I need to apply. So take notes, put your plan, pause the video, go do some application, come back. So this is the whole idea behind it. So I'll walk you quickly through the journey, which you will find, of course, throughout the program, and you'll understand this more as you start doing the lessons and the different steps in the program. We always start with finding a problem. And this is like one big mistake that we usually do as people who have been brought up in this culture or environment. We directly tend to think of solutions. Like, I want to create a solution that does this and that. No, before we get there, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? So unless you really understand the problem, unless you really understand who are the people that you are targeting and that are being affected by this problem, you will never be able to create a proper, adequate solution. All right. So this is why we adopt the design thinking framework or methodology. I believe you're a little bit familiar with this from other subjects or other programs you've done at the school. And this is amazing. It will give you some background, but we will revisit this, the design thinking framework. What does it mean? How do you define a problem? How do you understand the target audience that you're trying to solve a problem for? And only after you frame this problem, you will start thinking of solutions. And when we start thinking of solutions, we don't directly select one. We think of as many as possible. We call this ideation, and we provide you with a lot of different ideation techniques. And based on a certain selection mechanism, you say, all right, I will start with this one, and I have two runner-ups, like, you know, Miss Lebanon or whatever. You have the queen and you have the runner-up. So in case the queen broke her leg, couldn't go to Miss Universe, then the runner-up will represent Lebanon instead. So think of it in a similar way. When you have this idea of what the solution could look like, you start working on the technical development. So what is this technology exactly? What can I do with it? You go and dig deeper, you apply, you tinker, and you try different things. And this will help you again say, oh, was that the right solution? Maybe not. Maybe I should tweak it. I should change some things about it. Now this is my solution. And then we will add the entrepreneurship layer, the business planning layer. All right, so now you understood the problem, you understood your solution, you understood your target market. Do you know what income you can get? Of course, we're not talking about exact numbers here, but what are the streams? How would you make money out of this? What's your cost structure looking like? What will it? What are the things you need to pay for in order to make this happen? How will you market it? How will you reach your target audience with this solution? I might build the best mobile app in the world that is targeting high school students, but if no high school students found out about it, I mean, I would have not done anything really. So it's all about the reach, it's all about the plan I put, how do I measure my success, etc. So this is the final layer that we add, which is the entrepreneurship or the business planning layer. And the last step is the pitching. So you put all of these elements together. So you have a problem, you have a solution, you have a prototype based on the technical development module that you took. You have a business plan, and you will show us these 4 things in a coherent pitch where you are presenting your solution as if you are an entrepreneur. So this is why you gain entrepreneurship skills throughout this program. It's not just you know what entrepreneurship is, you are doing it. You are being the entrepreneur, and you are showing us what you've done, and you're convincing us that this is the best solution. Based on this pitch, you will be competing against other students from your school and other schools in a regional competition. We've done this, as I mentioned, for a long time, which gives us credibility, which gives us also the green light to say that we can move forward and scale our efforts. And I'm very honored to announce that we are visiting Saudi Arabia next week, and we are also talking to different schools in different cities throughout the kingdom to pilot this. So if this works, you will be competing not just with Lebanese students, but with Saudi and more international students as well from other countries. This is how the platform would look like. So again, it's shabablab.com. What we will do based on the forms that you filled, we will be creating accounts for you on our platform. Those of you in grade 10, you will get access to Web for Change, which is the grade 10 program. And those of you in grade 11 will get access for the AR for Social Impact, which is grade 11 program. You will also find that some other programs are open and are free. So you can also navigate through them, look at them. We also have a very interesting new addition to the platform, which is called Series. It's simply shabablab.com/series, where we showcase different successful Arab social entrepreneurs, because again, social entrepreneurship is a main core value and a main skill we are trying to foster and grow anew. So this could be also a great way to look at successful projects in the Arab world that have made it in social entrepreneurship, and all of them use technology for the social good. We are proud that so far our completion rate has been 90%, which is really, really high in comparison to other e-learning platforms. So this is a zoom in on the Web for Change program. So after the grade 10 students get access to this, you will be able to see this. So basically you log in, this is your account. You will not get the teacher dashboard. This is only something that your teachers will be able to see. They will be able to see your progress, your submissions. They will be able to give you feedback on your submissions, etc. These are the different modules. So here you can see that we have different modules, and under each module you have different lessons. The lessons, I mean, we are using the most recent best practices in e-learning, which is what we call micro-learning. So each lesson is 5 minutes long, and it's either in the shape of a video or in a small interactive activity. And even if it's a video, inside the video, you will have interactive components. For example, you will get a question and you will need to answer it in the middle of the video, or at the beginning or at the end. And below the video, usually, or the lesson, you will find some other resources and material. For example, you can find the transcription. This is also to make our platform accessible. So someone, for example, if they cannot hear, they can read, or vice versa. Like if they cannot read, they can hear. So we are also very keen to make our platform accessible to the visually and to the hearing impaired people. And also you can find other resources such as supplementary materials, some links. Sometimes you have a small discussion forum where you can interact with other students completing the program, or you get the chance to answer an interesting question and do a bit of research and tell us your opinion about it. Sometimes we have polls, we have flip cards. So there are different methods that we are using, and they are all based on best practices in e-learning and asynchronous learning. So you need to understand that we will not have live sessions where we are covering this material. It's self-paced. You know, whenever you have electricity, you have good connection, you get into these, but there will be a timeline and deadlines for certain modules, and especially submissions, so that we finish, of course, on time. And this is something that your supervisors and teachers will be checking upon as well, to make sure that you are on track. I'm gonna now talk more about the Web for Change. It's for grade 10. I mean, one of the schools asked us to open it for grade 9, but we usually prefer to keep it for grade 10. This is where students will create a web application that solves an environmental problem in your community. So each program has a specific theme. And this theme is inspired by some of the Sustainable Development Goals, or what we call the UN 2030 agenda. So for the grade 10 program, the focus is on the environment. When we talk about the environment, we talk about clean energy, we talk about responsible consumption and production, sustainable cities, life below water, life on land, climate action. There are a lot of SDGs related to the environment. So do not feel that you are cornered, because really there are so many things you can work on. And your solution should incorporate a web aspect. So it doesn't have to be only the website. I'll give you an example. Let's say you decided to create, I gave you this example of the beach cleanup, which is not sustainable, right? So maybe you tell me one way to make it sustainable based on your research and, interviews you conducted using design thinking methodology, etc., is to have a website where we are, first of all, reporting the level of pollution on the beaches, and whenever the level gets to a certain point, then we will send notifications to people to start creating a campaign to go and clean up. So this will be a regular thing. So every time there's reporting and there is a call for action, basically, let's go and clean up the beach. So this could be a web aspect of cleaning up the beach. But if you think about it, I cannot clean up the beach on a website, right? Like I have to actually go and do it. So the website is assisting me. It's helping me. It's a tool to help me organize this better, to have better visibility, to make it more sustainable, more efficient, etc. But it's not the only solution. So it's part of my solution. So the website here in this case could be either a full solution. For example, I want to use e-commerce to sell environmental friendly products to people in Lebanon at affordable prices. This could be, it's a full web solution. Of course, there will be the delivery aspect of it and the product, which is physical. I cannot, again, send you the product over the website, right? You can purchase it over the website. I can send you a receipt over the website, but in order to deliver it, I have to do it physically. So it could be either a fully web solution, or it could have a mix between physical and web. We don't have a problem with that. We are using a very simple tool, so we don't want to frustrate you with a lot of engineering and technology. It's just like a flavor, a taste. We want you to know how it works and honestly be curious about it and learn more after you finish this program. This is why we are using simple tools. And for web development, we are using WordPress. WordPress is one of the most popular website development engines, and it's very, very powerful. 30% of websites in the world are developed using WordPress. And this is a great asset that you will be able to add to your CV. And I'll tell you, some of our alumni who learned WordPress in some of our programs are now doing freelance web development and gaining income from others in fresh dollars, because this is a really needed in-demand service. So although it's a service, it's paid in fresh dollars. And this could be extra income you can make starting the summer, right? So you don't have to wait for long to start developing other websites. Moreover, this is something you can use later on beyond the program in creating your own personal website. If you have any other project or a business you want to create other than this one, which you will create in this program, you can also create a website for it, maybe help your family business, help your friends and relatives, and maybe charge them some money for that. So this is really a great way for you to add, more skills that you can keep on using after the program is over. As we mentioned, this is also part of your community engagement, community service. You learn social entrepreneurship and do it, and you'll be part of a regional competition. This is the outline of the program. So we start with only an introduction, what to expect, what you will be covering. Then we talk about social innovation. What's social innovation? We give you examples, and they are very localized and contextualized to this part of the world. Then we walk you over the design thinking process. And at the end of it, you have to identify an environmental problem in your own community. And you have to be very specific to your own community. Like, don't tell me I want to save the polar bears in the North Pole. We don't have polar bears in this part of the world. Or don't tell me that you want to save the sharks in the Pacific by the shores of Australia. You know what I mean? So it should be very specific to your community, and it should not be general and too broad. It should be really, really specific. You should do market research to help you frame this problem, make it more realistic, and also not reinventing the wheel. So learn from what others tried to do, how they framed the similar problem. Then you will learn web development to see, the options you have and what you can create with web development. And here's where you need to really apply as you go. You can't just like watch the videos. I mean, it won't help you if you don't apply as you go. After you now have a problem in mind and you've done market research and you know what, with web development, you will identify your solution. You will form your team. This is where you form your team, because you already have a problem in mind. You know what you're passionate about. You have an idea about web development. You form your team and you come up with an idea. And here is there's a possibility of changing the initial problem. So we don't mind with you being very iterative, because the whole process that we use and the methodology that we adopt, it encourages this dynamism and iteration. Then you create a business plan, you create a prototype and pitch. And this is a sample outline of dates. We were hoping to start earlier in last month, but due to some delays, we will send an updated timeline, and hopefully we will start next Monday. So it will be the 14th of February. And I just want you to know that in case there's 1 week where you have exams or you have, other deadlines for your school, I mean, we're very flexible with moving some deadlines. It's okay. And this is really the decision of your school to move some deadlines around. We don't mind at all, as long as we respect the final deadline, which is April 30th, because we don't want to get into the final exam period, and because we want to give the jury some time to evaluate all the submissions of the projects in order to announce the winners by May the 30th, before you go to your summer break, basically. So all of this will be sent to you after we fix the deadlines, and hopefully it will be sent to you by your school teachers, who have to approve them. And as I mentioned, if you need to move any deadline in between this, there is no problem at all. You can just talk to your teachers, and they can do this adjustment without even getting back to us. Now I'll talk more about the AR for Social Impact Grade 11 program. So this is where you create an augmented reality application that solves an SDG related problem related to good health and well-being, quality education, reduced inequalities, or sustainable cities and communities. So we are looking at different SDGs for more diversity. And you will learn a software called Unity. Unity is a really, really good software that allows you to create games, to create AR apps and VR apps. So now, if you are aware of the metaverse, it's a big thing. Yesterday, I saw one of my friends, she lives in Dubai, saying that she's looking for AR developers. A lot of people are getting into this metaverse world. So this is also one of the highly booming 21st century skills that you need. Okay, so Unity is a great also software to add to your CV and to your skills, plus AR, because it's also part of this whole new idea of the metaverse. And but again, we're not just doing this for gaming and NFTs, we're doing this for social impact. Again, you are creating augmented reality apps that have a good impact, will help the world, and you will be doing community engagement, again, doing social entrepreneurship, and like grade 10, being part of a regional competition, and you will not be competing with grade 10. So grade 11 only compete together, and grade 10, they compete together. This is the outline, somehow similar, but like even next year, let's say we have some people who were part of the grade 10 program, they want to be part of the grade 11 program, there will not be repetition and overlap. So we are looking at things from slightly different angle and slightly more advanced angle. And for those who weren't part of the previous program, so grade 10 program, they're now in the grade 11 program, you will be given some resources to strengthen your background information. So this is the way we did it, so that we cater for both those who are doing this for the first time and those who have already been in the Web for Change and are continuing the journey with Shabab Lab. Also, you will start with the problem framing and definition with design thinking, market research, then you do the AR development, then you do your team formation and ideation, then you create your business plan and prototype and pitch. So it's somehow a similar format, but again, talking about different technology, different tools, and different SDGs, so different theme. This is also how the timeline would look like. Also, we will adjust this based on the new dates, which is starting February 14. Same thing applies if you have any deadlines, any exams, and you believe that you need to move one deadline. We are very flexible with that, as long as we keep the final deadline, which is again April 30th. Yeah, and I would like to invite you to already go ahead and check our series called Keys to Success of Arab Social Entrepreneurs. This would be very inspiring for you to come up with good ideas. And we will be announcing also a competition soon where you can win fresh money. Where if you watch the series and create some small content, we will put all the requirements on social media and probably send you an email after you get your credentials. So you can win even before winning the final competition. So you can win twice. One, we have this small competition about the series, and the other one would be the final competition by the end of the program. We also have another series that you can look at, which is called the Pitch Series, Shabab Lab Pitch Series. They are the winning teams from the previous programs. So you can have an idea of, the winning teams. And of course, mind you, you can still do much better. So we are hoping that the quality of these projects will only improve with time. You can definitely follow us on our social media platforms, because we share a lot of educational content. So we share tips on how to pitch. We share tips on resources, books on entrepreneurship. We also share some small videos also on social entrepreneurs, real cases, etc. So this is something that could be insightful and can help you in your journey. I highly recommend that you follow us on your favorite channel. So we're available on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. So maybe it's only Snapchat that we're not available on. And finally, if you have any questions, of course, let us know. The next step will be for us to send you an email. So check in your spam. We will let you know when we send this email out, because sometimes this email goes to spam. We will send you your credentials. After you log into the platform, you can edit your profile. So this is me, for example. I uploaded my profile picture and cover photo, and then I can see my courses, my groups, etc. And we wish you definitely a great, successful journey on Shabab Lab. And we know that you will be the change makers and the social innovators that we are looking forward to. If you have any questions, you can either ask now, ask your teachers, or you can always check in by email. So I'm ready now for your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mona. Do you have any questions, guys?